Hi everyone, this is an impromptu video. Didn't think I was going to make this video today, but something happened at the last minute, and I'll tell you how that came about. Uh, Spent the day doing other things today on a Sunday, and at the last hour or so before my record store was due to close, I stopped in there. And when I went in there, the store owner was playing this album, which is a really minty copy of the John Lennon Walls and Bridges album. And it sounded really fantastic, and I went over to look at it playing on the turntable, and he said this was like a virgin album, and now it's played for the first time. This is an album that doesn't have the shrink wrap on it, but it's mint. It's from that collection that I showed for the last few videos. A guy who sold his very, very pristine, unplayed condition, most of it in the shrink wrap. But the records, at any event, and the covers are minty. So what happened was, when I first looked at that collection, I basically cherry picked out all the titles that were in shrink wrap, or I left some in shrink that I already had in the shrink. You know, I figured I got them in shrink already. Why do I need them? But then when he was playing this record, and look how minty everything's minty. This is the inner sleeve. It's like brand new. It suddenly occurred to me that not only should I buy this collection, for the beautiful shrink wrap, but also for the records, which look unplayed. Now these records, I mean, I'm telling you, you could look at the whole collection that came in, and they're either never played, complete virgin, or vinyl, so to speak, with just a little bit of dust from like sitting in the sleeve so long, or else they were played maybe once. I mean, they look brand new. The labels look great. So it suddenly dawned on me as I heard the clarity of this record that maybe I need to buy them all. Maybe I shouldn't have just settled for the ones that I had already bought, just because the shrink wrap was there. And even when I took out this John Lennon album, I took out the little booklet that comes in here. I mean, this is minty too. It's very sharp. I mean, I have this record, Walls and Bridges, a couple of other times. You know, fresh like this, but not nearly this crisp. I mean, crisp, good enough for sure, but not quite this minty. So anyway, now I say this is an impromptu video. That means I didn't bother shaving. I don't care. Also, my neighbor is upstairs walking around, so I've apologized if you hear a lot of that. But I'm going to show you some records here that I got today, again, from that collection. And maybe I'll explain a story behind why I may have passed them up the last time. For example, this one here, Mind Games. This was from the same collection. I didn't pick it up the first time because I've got it in shrink a couple of times, actually. But this, again, even though it was nice, I let it go. But then I started thinking, like I just said, yeah, but what about the condition of the rest of it? What about the inner sleeve, you know, or not so much the inner sleeve, I mean, but the records. These records are all ridiculously like new. And, you know, again, I don't know how well it comes up here. And even as I'm showing them, you might be able to see what appears to be on the camera. It's looking like there might be some scuff marks or things, but there really are not. But they're really nice. They're really pretty impressive. What I see on these sometimes is, I say, a little dust, little hairs, you know, the hairs that got to be brushed off. Just like when you first buy a record sometime, back in the 70s or something, when you'd buy a record and you'd pull it out for the first time and it would have a couple of particles, a little white specks from the paper or something. That's what these look like. So it suddenly dawned on me that I should buy the whole damn lot. And now this is another one, which, I mean, I already have this, Wings of the Speed of Sound, but again, the shrink is such nice condition, tightly bound shrink, and you know, some people can't stand when I hold the dead edge of the record. There's an example of what I was speaking of. See the white? All that is the paper or whatever. Sometimes it's factory sealed, and when you take it out in the day, it looks like you have to dust that off. I mean, these records are not played. Or if they are, I mean, they look like once, like I said. So, luckily, because my store owner Joe, you know, knows me so well, and I'm a regular customer. He gave me really good prices on these, so I didn't really break the bank or anything like that, although getting close. London Town, same thing. I've got this in shrink, right? I even got it with a hype sticker. Not hype sticker, I think it's a store sticker. But anyway, this was, I left this, I passed this the first day because, I mean, I have it nice, but it's the same thing here. When I took this out to look at the poster, I'm not going to open it, but the poster, it just looks, when you look at it, like it's never been unfolded. And I'm not about to do that. I mean, it looks like just the way you bought it. This guy bought these records and never used them. Or at least maybe once. Maybe recorded them to tape or something. I don't know how many people want to see every record, but, you know, that's the beauty. We can always pause if we don't want to see it, and other people who want to see it can look. Again, there's that white little speck that I'm not going to use my hand on, but the brush, you know. Now, the funny thing is, while I usually keep records like this for the purpose of preserving them, you know, some of them, this particular set of records here, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to actually play these. I'm going to play, these are going to be my playing copies. You know, you might say, well, why are you doing that? Because I want to have really pristine playing copies that sound good. You know, that's what I'm going to do. In fact, what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to be doing a Frankenstein job. I'm going to be taking the best records with the best covers. Some of them, I might have better covers in here, and some of them have better inner sleeves. Between these copies that I have, I'm going to get the ultimate shrink wrap outer sleeve, pristine inner sleeve, and pristine record. Now, some people can't be bothered with this kind of thing, as I show you Pipes of Peace. I already have this nice with the hype sticker, so I really, you know, this outer I don't really need. But and then, for all I know, I should mention that the as unplayed as these records look, for all I know, my copy of Pipes of Peace, I haven't checked it in a while, my copy of Pipes of Peace may be just as pristine as this. And what gets me too is that the labels even look shiny. The labels on all of these look shiny and like unused. I was looking at non-Beatles related titles, like I was looking at the Association, get some shrink wrap copies by the Association, and they were on, I forget the name of the label, the red label, I want to say Chesterfield, I'm not sure what they are, and I took them out. They look like 180 gram labels. I mean, modern labels. They're like totally smooth and bright, you know. But I was saying before I was showing this particular record, if you give me a second, that some people may scoff at this, and some people may say, "Oh, come on, you're crazy." But that's fine. And this video is not for you. And this video is for people who I guess can relate to what I'm talking about, in particular, serious Beatles and solo Beatles collectors. Here's Ringo's Sentimental Journey. Now, I have this in the shrink. This one's not in the shrink, but it dawned on me. I passed this up the other day, like I did all these. But then I said, well, wait a minute, but this record is probably unplayed compared to my other one. And I don't know. You know, there's that white speck. You know, I really don't know. I mean, for all I know, my copy of Sentimental Journey might just, I don't think it's as good as this one. And therein lies the addiction of this. Okay? It shows you how addictive this collecting can be. Because I might already have copies just as good as this, but because the prices weren't outrageous, I went ahead and I took this chance. Now we have McCartney 2. I mean, I have this. This is not in shrink. I have it in shrink, and I also have it with a hype sticker that says contains a 7-inch single of Coming Up. But what the hell? You know, now if you want to get really anal as I do, you know, I would look for a copy of the inner sleeve without the bend. You know. But when I looked at the record, and a lot of you collectors know, these red Columbia records from the 70s and 80s are known to be scuffy look, even when they're brand new. I mean, this looks really good. You know, this was like $8 for this album. You know, I mean, so I mean, I just had to take it. You know, if this is a better record than the one I have, which I'm pretty sure it is, I'm considering these virgin vinyl, as much as you can figure it. for all intents and purposes. Oh, I should also mention it has a single in here. Then in that case, I am going to upgrade it. And here, of course, is the Columbia single that came with it, coming up the live version at Glasgow. I mean, again, this thing looks like nobody ever used it. I mean, right? I mean, figure, if you're like me and you're collecting Beatles and solo Beatles material, don't you think you owe it to yourself, if you're really serious about it, to get as close to mint as you can for used records? You know, you want to get them unused. You want to get, you know, which is what I'm trying to do. Maybe I don't go this far for every artist, but you know I do for the Beatles. I'm really into it. Okay, next up, trying to like vary it up here, but most of it is a lot of Paul McCartney in here. I see, and Ringo. Let's go back to John Lennon for Some Time in New York City. Now I have a pretty damn near flawless copy of this already, and this is really gorgeous. I mean, this is in great shape. There's a little bit of discoloration on right there as compared to the rest of it, but I mean, there are no seam splits. Again, this guy in this case just took the shrink off, just opened up the gatefold. You know, when I opened it up, I hope it's got everything in it. It's got the paperwork about the National Committee for John and Yoko from New York. You know, these are in all of them, but also in some cases the guy took out, I guess, like clippings from the magazines where they were reviewing it or talking about the album. Now, even though I've got a pretty pristine copy of this, I'm trying to see, I think there's something else that comes with this, but drawing a blank right now. Even though I already have a pretty nice copy of this, at least the cover, I mean, this record is really, it's a 2-record set, and I mean, I know that the record that I have isn't quite as gorgeous as this one. Again, just a little flake there of white from the dust of the sleeve, a little dust. But again, these, I can tell just by looking at these grooves, they look like they're hardly used or not used at all. Don't mean to be repetitious, but it is what it is. Some of these are cumbersome to show. I want to make sure I get these in here safely too, back in without splitting anything. Let's see, where do we go from here? Okay, this is going to be an interesting one to show. I have a copy of this particular multi-record set in the shrink wrap, open shrink wrap. This one's not open, but it's gorgeous anyway. It's Wings Over America. Covers are shiny as hell. When you open up the center, when you open up the center, you sometimes get a crack as if like never been opened before. Really nice gatefold. I can't open the one that I have because I'm keeping it in the shrink. This one I can open. Now, a lot of stuff came with this particular release, as I'm sure we all know. I'm going to try to get most of it out of here. Talking about a poster. Again, I'm not going to open the poster. Looks pretty nice. So let me just take a quick look in here, because even I'm not sure. I got this mixed up with Venus and Mars as to what it contains. But I mean, these inner sleeves are really nice. It's a 3-record set. They're all minty. If I just pull out one of the records, I didn't look at all 3. Really nice. And you know, it just hit me, like I said, again, the first time I saw this the other day, I said, I'm not going to buy this. I have it already. It's still shrink wrapped, but I'm not sure that the records themselves are pristine. I'm not sure that those have never been played like these. So, And plus, the guy was going to close the store in only an hour. He only had an hour, so he opened up, stayed open a little late for me, just so I could get this transaction done. Here's Ringo's Rotogravure. I've already got. This is an easy album to get, even in the shrink. It's a very easy album to get. And I just played this recently, and it sounded very, very good. It sounded very, very good. But again, I looked at it and I said, you know, this thing looks like it just came off the factory press. So why not get it? Again, make sure I have the ultimate playing copy. Is this excessive? Yeah, you bet it is. I wouldn't do this for just any band, I suppose. Some, yes, but not any band. Let's go over to something a little different. This is the Ruddles. I have a nice copy of this Ruddles album. It has a shrink wrap on it with a hype sticker that jokes around because it's a comedy kind of spoof of the Beatles. And it says on the sticker, it says free record included with this 28-page book, or 20-page, whatever, however many pages it is. Oh, look at that. I didn't realize there's anything in here, folks. Again, you're talking about clippings of the day. talking about this. Oops. If anybody really is interested, I know I look at this record in the store also, and again, I'm looking at it, I'm saying, this is beautiful. Again, you know, unplayed record, a little bit of dust there, a little flake. Makes me wonder, though, since every one of these records has a dust flake on it almost, were they played? Was the guy a cocaine user, maybe? I'm starting to wonder. No, I mean, you could tell. And the John Lennon record, Walls and Bridges, that the guy at the store was playing, just sounded so great. I can see we're getting the 17-minute mark already. Another long video. Okay, I try to talk during these segments where I'm putting the records back, so you can at least have something to listen to. Where do we go from here? John Lennon, Rock and Roll. It's got a little newspaper clipping in there from the time. You know, I didn't know how far I should go on these. How many do you buy back? I mean, do I have this already? But I mean, if it's so beautiful, I'm saying the same thing for every record. You people out there, especially the die-hard Beatle collectors that love to collect Beatles, let me know what you think. I mean, if these were like $50 each, or, you know, $25 each or something like that, okay, I couldn't do this. But because they were priced pretty low, $8, you know, $10, some cases, why not? I have a copy of this album here. I have a copy of this in a shrink wrap, but even though the shrink wrap is missing from this, it's still a marvelous looking record. It looks so brand spanking new. Ringo's Bukus of Blues, his country album from 1970. Could you hear that? I don't know if you heard it. I heard it. Never been opened, it looks like. Is this getting a little dull? Watching the same records, basically same looking records all the time. You know what you're gonna. When I show them to you, they're gonna be pretty minty looking. I just decided I couldn't leave them there. I'm looking to get the ultimate copies of all these, close to that as I can. I'm going to try to go a little faster with this. Now this one here is the George Harrison, the self-titled album. I got like 2 or 3 copies of this in the shrink. I looked at the record, it's mint, you know, unplayed. Now we have Venus and Mars, McCartney and Wings, or Wings, Venus and Mars, looking all sturdy and great shape with a spine and everything. All that's missing happens to be the shrink wrap. And like, I haven't really looked to see if I have everything in here. It looks like I do. I don't even know what everything is, but you know, you have that there. You have, I don't know, these things here, 2 of them. You have a poster. Have another poster. Now I know I have a copy of this already in the shrink wrap, as I say, and I think it has everything in it. I basically bought this one just because, again, I want what I think is going to be an unplayed record. Little hair there, or one-time played record. It was an astonishing collection, and I'm going to take a moment here to say, you know, I still have to show you non-Beatles related records, and the reason I'm not doing that for a while is because I don't have all of them in my possession. The Beatles stuff I got right away, but some of them I still have on the side yet to actually purchase. So it's going to be a couple of weeks, maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. Somewhere in the month of March, I'm going to show those other records. This is my 3rd copy of this record. This one is Harry Nilsson, Ringo's Son of Dracula soundtrack. But I noticed that this one is a promo. It says not for sale. It's a promotional copy. It opens up like bat wings, you know, but I won't show the record on this except to say mint, needless to say. By now we got the gist of it, right? 2 records left. Yoko Ono, Season of Glass. I have this record sealed, which I'm not going to intend to open, but this is in the shrink and with a beautiful minty unplayed looking record. So when I play it, and I do, this is one of Yoko's, in my opinion, best albums, better albums, so I like it. And so is this one coming up. I have a pretty nice copy of this, but when I looked at this, I was just stunned by the gloss on it, how the sheen on it, how shiny it is, and just had to have it. And when I opened it up, I don't think my copy has this. A Simon & Schuster, please send me blank copies of Yoko's Grapefruit book. It's somewhere up there. It's I don't think I have that in mine. But it's got a poster of which I'm not going to open. Just like the companion piece, the John Lennon Imagine album. These came out at like the same period. There's a poster in here, and since this is going to be the last record, a lot of you probably figure, oh, that's it, Yoko? No, nothing else? Okay. Well, I just hang around for a second. Pretty nice. Minty. And the last thing I want to say in this video is that this enables me, again, to sell off a lot of copies I have. I have a lot of copies. I'm going to be going through them all. I'm going to be, again, piecing together, Frankensteining together, if you will, the best copy I can of this. Make it really nice. Let me wait on this a little bit. Can't get that in so easily. And I'm going to try to recoup some money by unloading some stuff. Now, I don't really like doing a lot of mail order stuff. If any of you out there are regular people, you know, that I know well, I mean, in the Beatles community, you know who you are out there, and you have anything you need upgrades of or anything, give me private messages. Send me a private message, and I'll see what we can do, all right? So anyway, still excited about this, and it went 25 minutes practically, and it was worth it, though, for me anyway. I'm glad I got a chance to show you all. Take care, everybody.